So today we are going to discuss about the interior lighting. Okay, interior lighting means the lighting required for our daily work at different places. Okay, so what are the objectives of interior lighting? An integrated design approach is necessary for lighting design. This can be done with the 6 elements that influence the lighting design. They all need to be considered for the best possible solution. So what are the solutions? First is the visual function. What are the key components of the visual function? First one is the luminous flux, which is measured in lumens. The amount of light coming from the light source, that means lumens, and is a measure of total power of light. It is measured in lumens. What is lumen? Lumen is used for comparing how bright the light source is. That means the 60-watt incandescent bulb has a lumen about 815. Okay. The amount of light that travels in certain direction from the source is called the luminous intensity, which is measured in candles or candela. Next term is the luminance. The lighting travel at the working desk or a space should be adequate and comfortable. NDC provides the average lux level required for the each space category. Okay. Uniformity of illuminance. Uniformity is an integral fundamental for visual performance and discomfort. Variation of illuminance not only hampers the overall appearance of a space, but also to the comfort levels and all for the energy consumption. Number 4 is glare. What is glare? We already discussed that glare is an unusual and unintentional excessively bright area which directly or indirectly leads to discomfort, visual glare or disability glare. Now the colors. The visual aesthetics and the appearance of an object or space is resultant of material specifications of the target and light source. It is important to first choose the color type and then select the hue followed by the saturation. The number 6 is the reflectance. The light falling on any surface is partially absorbed and partially reflected based on the material property. This consideration should be included in the lighting design to optimize the fixture requirement and the energy consumption. Okay. The next is the visual amenity. So here the first point is the visual function, which has the 6 components within visual functions. Next is the visual amenity. Lighting requirements and the aesthetics are the key essence of the lighting design, particularly in terms of attractiveness and the stimulations. Stimulations means how the light stimulate us, means if we see a green light and a red light and a white light, so which light stimulate us and attractive us? The light being comfortable to our eyes. Here the comfortable lights are white light. Okay. Next is the architectural integration. Integration of lighting could play an important role in overall architectural design. The designer may choose a suitable luminaire like recessed luminaire, suspended luminaire, spotlights, wall-mounted, floor-standing luminaire, ceiling-mounted, etc. And each type is for a particular design approach and chosen as per the requirements and the installation provisions. So there are the different architectural posture like the recessed luminaire, suspended luminaire, spotlights, wall mounted luminaires, floor standing luminaire, ceiling mounted luminaire. Okay. Depending upon the requirement, we select the architectural integration. Next is the energy efficiency. Lamp technologies, luminaire specifications, and the controls are the key approach to ensure energy efficiency in the lighting design. These measures control the lighting power density on the work plane or space and the operational timings for maximize the returns. Then the costs. Costs are divided into two parts. One is the capital cost, that means the cost for buying the items, and the another is the operational cost. So capital cost and operational cost are directly or indirectly linked to each other. Effort should be made to maximize these two in terms of life cycle cost. Analyze where an increased capital cost saves the operational expenditure, thereby paying back the additional capital cost in a desired time period. Now, also there are some factors like human factors and design factors. Human factors. Light influences the emotional responses of the people who occupy the space. The appearance and character of the space is greatly dependent on the distribution and pattern of the light and shadow. Lighting design does not start with the selection of luminaires, but with an evolution of the occupant's needs, visual and physical capabilities like age and lifestyles. So older people require much more light than the younger people, because in case of the older people, the capability of eye becomes reduced. So for a 55-year-old requires twice as much light as a 20-year-old. Because needs, lifestyles and occupants can change, consideration should be given to the use of portable, modular and easily controlled luminaires. Okay. Now the design factors. The designer must gather information to identify the client's needs and develop solutions. Those elements that contribute to the design solution are the design issues. Following the evolution of the design issues, the designer should then select the light sources and luminaires and finally determine quality, location and the appropriate controls. So several important criteria must be considered in residential lighting design. They include the safe movement from one space to another, lighting people as well as objects, flexibility in the multi-purpose spaces such as kitchens and great rooms, a sense of aesthetics and the concern of energy efficiency. Okay. Finally, a designer should consider how the alternative sources, equipment, placement or controls would improve the end results and affect cost. The designer should provide a maintenance schedule and a lamp replacement list for the client to help keep the lighting system equipped to perform as planned. Okay. So now we are going to discuss about the factors affecting the interior lighting plan. Okay. So the factors are: number one, consideration of luminous efficacy. Luminous efficacy is the ratio of lumen output from the lamp to the electrical power input to the lamp. The required illuminance must be provided by the lamp in conjunction with the lighting economically. Number two, considerations of the life of the lamp must be done by the designers. They should think what may be the difficulties to replace burned out lamps and whether group replacement of the lamps is a better choice economically or not. Number three, the lumen maintenance of the lamp is an important factor. Question can arise that if it is important to have a certain minimum level of luminance at all times. That means we must have a certain minimum level of illuminance at all time. Okay. Another important consideration is color, the factor of appearance. Although all the lamp listers produced white color, their CCT and CRIs differs. We discuss CCT and CRIs later. Designers should consider the importance of the colors of the seeing task and its surroundings to be faithfully reproduced. Okay. Auxiliary equipments required along with the lamps make a big question. We know that all gas discharge light sources require ballast, where an incandescent lamps do not. The type of ballast used can affect the lamp output. That means we already know that there are two types of ballast. One is electronic ballast, another is the electromagnetic ballast. So depending upon the type of ballast used also affect the lamp output, life, starting reliability, system efficiency and occupant comfort. Number 6. The designer should think about what may be the other miscellaneous. That is, whether any other factors are present in a particular environment or not. Temperature is a problem or not. Whether the area must be free from stroboscopic effect or not. Electromagnetic interference disturb the activities going on in the space. The fumes are present which could produce corrosion and an explosive atmosphere. Okay, so these are the factors. Now we are going to discuss about what is CRI and CCT. Give the table 1. Okay, first we discuss about CRI and CCT. According to the surveyed specifiers, the most useful measure of a light source color characteristics are color rendering index, which is called by abbreviated as CRI. In general terms, CRI is a measure of light source ability to show object colors realistically or naturally compared to a familiar reference source, either incandescent light or the daylight. The CRI is calculated from the differences in the chromaticities of 8 CIE standard color samples, which is given in CIE 1995, when illuminated by a light source and by a reference luminant of the same correlated color temperature or CCT. Okay. The smaller the average difference in chromaticity, the higher the CRI. A CRI of 100 represents the maximum value. Lower CRI value indicate that some colors may appear unnatural when illuminated by the lamp. Incandescent lamps have a CRI above 95. Cool white light fluorescent lamps have a CRI of 62. However, fluorescent lamps containing rare earth phosphors are available with CRI value of 80 and above. For the CCTs, means correlated color temperatures less than 500 K, the reference illuminants used in the CRI calculation procedure are the SPDs of the blackbody radiators. For the CCTs above 5000 K, means the Kelvin, imaginary SPD is calculated from the mathematical model of daylight are used. These reference sources were selected to approximate incandescent lamps and the daylights respectively. Okay. Here, for the most useful light source color characteristics. CRI average usefulness ratings is 3.5 and standard deviation is 0.7, number of responses 237. CCT 3.2, standard deviation 1 and number of responses 233. The colors may match under incandescent lighting but not under daylighting. This fact should be noted when the selecting materials, pigments or dye lots for interior surfaces. Okay, so one should examine and compare the materials under the light sources that will ultimately illuminate them. Then the surface finish. Colors of objects sometimes appear to change with surface finish. Specular or mirror reflection from glossy surfaces may, in extreme cases, increase the chroma and the saturation at one angle and obscure color at other angles. Okay, a matte finish reflects light diffusely and appears more or less the same from any viewing angle. Deeply, the textured finishes such as velvet or deep pile carpeting cause shadows within the fibers that make the materials appear darker than smooth surfaced materials such as satin, silk or plastic laminates of the same color. Now the topic is fading. Light fades fabrics and finishes. UV energy is one cause of fading. Since UV radiation cannot be completely eliminated, the amount, frequency and the length of exposure should be considered when materials or objects are of great value or irreplaceable. Irreplaceable. Okay. The use of appropriate UV and IR means the infrared filters in luminaires to protect fabrics, furnishings and art from light sources is recommended. Now, the quantity of light. We already discussed about the quality of light. Then we discussing about here the quantity of light. Visual activities in living space ranges from simpler to extremely difficult tasks. For example, shewing is an activity with small visual detail and low contrast that require higher illuminance than determining orientation in an entry foyer. Vision and perception for a discussion of the factors involved in seeing and the quality of visual environment for the recommended quantity of illumination. Okay. So we are stopped here today. Next day we are discuss about the selection of lamp. Okay. ঠিক আছে? Clear?
হ্যাঁ ম্যাম। হ্যাঁ ম্যাম। হুম।